Good morning, computer. No, I don't need the Microsoft Teams. I do not need the Microsoft Teams. I have no team. It's just me. And today is me. Lazy, perhaps, sometime later. However, today, right now, it's just me. These glasses, filthy glasses. Okie dokie, very good. Now we record. Now we are recording. Very good. Hey everybody. Hey there. How are you? So the wife and I attended a concert last night. That's what we like to do, is go to concerts, live music. You let the euphoria drift over you. You sing along to the songs that you love. Sometimes you find new songs. You get to marvel at what actual musicians look like. And last night we went to the Weezer show in Nashville, Vegas, which, by the way, has gotten completely out of control. I used to really love Nashville about a decade ago, and now not as much. Still lots of good shows there. Which, by the way, Owensboro, where's your venue? You're going to say River Park Center, I guess, but that's not it. That's for the symphony, and you know it, and Broadway shows, and you know it. It's not for rock shows. I find it amusing that little old Beaver Dam can build a beautiful amphitheater comparable to my favorite one in Nashville. Ascend Amphitheater is where I like to see shows down there. Last night we were at Bridgestone, but little old Beaver Dam puts up an amphitheater, does a fantastic job with it. I've enjoyed every show I've been to there. And where you at, Owensboro? You tore down the venue you had. You know. The Showroom Lounge was actually... I got a lot of good memories from concerts there. And you tore that sucker down. So, good job on that. You've torn down a lot of things, come to think of it, that I really liked. And I don't know who's making these decisions, but cut it out. Let's keep some of the cool stuff while we still have, like 8 cool things. Let's not tear them down. Just a thought. We actually talked about the Showroom Lounge on the way down to the show yesterday. And I was a little concerned. I asked her, I said, am I turning into the old guy that was buying tickets to see Paul Revere and the Raiders at the Showroom Lounge like 20 years past their prime, 30 years? Is that who I'm turning into? I went to the Weezer show. Weezer has been a working band trying to stay relevant. I don't know how relevant they still are, but they're relevant to me. And I've got reviews of the bands that we saw last night, so I decided to keep it short, so it's 2-word review for each band. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But I was concerned, I was worried. I don't want to be the old guy who's going to see Paul Revere and the Raiders with the buttons. Most of you don't know what I'm talking about, but the oldies circuit, I don't really want to be on that. And she said, no, we like music, and we like good music, and we see new people when they're intriguing. And we have seen a lot of new relevant acts over the last few years. So she assures me that I'm not just the old man out there jamming to Paul Revere and the Raiders, or the Osmond Brothers, or the Oak Ridge Boys, or those bands that used to come to the Executive Inn. There was others too. We saw a few relevant people at the Executive Inn, but it was mostly there at the end. It was an oldies circuit, so don't want to be on the oldies circuit. However, Weezer last night, pretty good. Some of you know I was kind of in a Weezer tribute band called Dad Joke. We did more Weezer songs than any other band, probably, because I love Weezer. And it was a little disturbing to see so many bald white guys with glasses similar to this. in one place at Bridgestone Arena. It was kind of bothersome how many guys looked exactly like me. It's definitely it's a genre, Weezer. It's a genre. And there are certain people that are very into the genre, and unfortunately, we're a little homogenous. We're a little similar. We're a little milk toasty, unfortunately. But God love Rivers Cuomo. It was a fantastic show. Your 2-word review for the bands. Opening up was Dinosaur Jr. and also from back in the day. And my 2-word review for Dinosaur Jr., Raw Meat. I'm not going to expound on these. I'm just going to give you 2 words. We saw the Flaming Lips. They were the middle act. And we've seen them before. And again, not going to expound, just 2 words. Mesmerizing Pretension. Mesmerizing Pretension for the Flaming Lips. And for Weezer, the 2-word review is Wicked Awesome, because they were. And I also did a 2-word review for Nashville in general, and that 2-word review was Strangling Expansion. And that's how I feel about that. Been struggling a little bit this week with how fake everyone is. Let's focus on the positive, though. So if you're watching this and you're one of the real ones, thank you for being real, keeping it real. I appreciate you if you are real. But the fakers are out there, and I've probably been spending too much time on the fake book. I'm still using it. I don't know why it's terrible. The ads and the trash are just terrible. I mean, I said that already. It's just, there's so much garbage on the fake book. But it connects me to a lot of people that I need to remain connected with, mostly for business reasons. The people that actually matter in life, I'm connected with anyway by other means. But I still need the rest of you to remember that I'm alive, so you'll call me instead of one of the other 298 choices you have if you're doing real estate stuff. However, those other choices are bad choices. You do realize that, don't you? They're like, I'm not good at many things. This is one of the things, the real estate thing. Obviously not a good media influencer. Not much of a musician. Can't really sing that well. Dancing. I say that I'm a good dancer, but that's just in my heart, not in physical reality. It's just in here that I'm a good dancer. But real estate I'm pretty good at, and the rest of these people are not. So, I mean, there's like a few, but most of them are not. And I'm really struggling lately with how the not good ones are propped up. Yeah, I don't like the not good ones being propped up. I don't know. Jacqueline told me a couple of weeks ago, she said, well, real estate is just a popularity contest, and you were never going to win that. And this is why I like having real, brutally honest people in my life, because that's 100% true. I've never won a popularity contest, and I don't want to, but it does irritate me when people make decisions based on physical appearance and not even physical appearance. What is it? Superficiality. Superficiality bothers me. I like depth. I like meaning. I like things to have logical sense. I like things to make logical sense. And some of the choices that I see people make no logical sense. And then the way the superficial people prop up the other superficial people, I just found it super irritating. But anyway, mostly was going to talk about the music today, and I've done that. I was reminded of a documentary when I was thinking about this Paul Revere and the Raiders thing, and Weezer, and are we only going to the oldies circuit shows and all that kind of stuff. And I was reminded of a documentary called Sound City that was written, directed, produced by Dave Grohl, who I probably shouldn't be suggesting this week because he's been in the news and been taking a lot of hits from you ladies. You're all mad at him. But Sound City's a great documentary about music production and all the most fabulous music that I love from the 70s up through the 90s. It got me to thinking about two things. One, and I'll be brief. I know you don't want to listen to me all day, so got me thinking about two things. And one is Dave Grohl himself and how everybody's so mad at him for something that doesn't really involve them or their life. And how musicians are not exactly role models most of the time. And we shouldn't make them role models. They create art. The art is either good or bad. The great thing about being Gen X is we had objectively better music. We really did. And I think the reason for that is we lived in an era. Everybody says, well, you're going to love the music that was out when you were an adolescent and you were coming of age and all that. And I see that. That's true. But Gen X had objectively better music because we were in an era where we had perfected the analog technology and you actually still had to have talent. The first commercially successful auto-tune song was Cher in 1998. So prior to 1998, there was actually something that had to be there, worthwhile, and the computers hadn't taken over yet. So you actually had to do something. And that's why Sound City is such a great documentary, because it goes into all that. But it was objectively better. So that's one thing. The other thing that I got to thinking about with all this is artists are not good role models because the art wouldn't exist if their life wasn't pretty screwed up. So I listened to a documentary with Beth Hart, who's my favorite blues singer. She's right there on the wall. And Beth was talking to this podcaster. He was interviewing her, and he asked her a question about a specific song. I can't remember which one. And he said, was there something that led you to write that? And she said, yeah, it's about rape. And she goes into detail about how she was raped when she was 12. And that relationship and what led to that. And, her dad was in prison, and, music was her outlet, and that was her safe place. And she wouldn't be a famous musician artist if she hadn't lived a completely horrible life. And so sometimes, while I wish I was a great artist or had some talent or something, I understand why I'm not, because I've lived a pretty decent life. I mean, it hasn't been, I'm not saying I haven't had struggles and problems and reasons to lose sleep, we'll say. But hadn't had to do what Beth has had to do. Hadn't had to live through that. And therefore, I got no art. And most people don't. It's like 1 out of 1,000 people that channels their destructive, disastrous life into art. Maybe it's more than 1 in 1,000. I don't know. Y'all do the math. Get back to me. But musicians aren't really role models. You don't really want them to be. If they hadn't lived tragic or slightly screwed up lives, they wouldn't have the art probably. I heard Clint Black talk about that one time, about how once he met Lisa Hartman Black and got married and had a decent relationship, he didn't produce as much. That's kind of when his career died, really. He wasn't as good a songwriter after that. And probably better to have a decent life and not be a great songwriter in the grand scheme. Most of these people are not happy. So, don't hate on Dave Grohl too much. He's probably just kind of miserable, and that's why his personal choices haven't been so great. When people are miserable, they make bad choices, right? So, that's my thoughts on music for the week. A few thoughts on horrible people and real estate agents that are superficial and shallow. And if you like the opposite of that, whether it's for business or if you just want to call me because we hadn't talked in a while, you have probably got my number if you're watching this far into the video. So I will make more videos because that's what I do, and I will see you then.